first 30 kilometers of your commute to Midland are supposed to be easy. It's the last 30 kilometers. You have to be prepared to protect your car.
Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 04 of Trail to Transcend, the final installment of the series as we catch up with our team, post the highs, lows, and everything in between following the event on Saturday, the 22nd of August. Big kudos to Shane, Mitch, and the Transcend team on putting together another stellar event. And from the participants we spoke to on the finish line, whether they were returning participants or roadrunners taking on the event for the first time, everyone spoke glowingly about the event and can't wait to go again next year. I'll intro the team. So across my screen is someone who on Saturday became the top 5 Queen on the Mountain, was our designated driver for Team Warp. And what we found out during the course of the day is she suffers from face blindness. Vicky, the Stairmaster Richardson, how are you, mate?
Stairmaster. I went on the Stairmaster once. Yes, I'm good, thanks. Really good. I had such a great day on Saturday. It was so wonderful to meet most of these lovely people in person, apart from 2 that I didn't meet.
or you may have. Who knows?
I may have met them all, or possibly not. Who knows? No, it was such an awesome weekend. My cup was very full after Saturday.
Very good, very good. The other side of my screen, well, it's actually blank because we've found out that we've clearly not paid our Zencaster subscription. So Chris is not on the other side of my screen, but hopefully we'll get him joining on the episode a bit shortly. On one of the other corners of my screen is someone that unfortunately didn't make it to the start line for the 65K, but he did swap his trail shoes and mandatory kit to be someone's crew, or a couple of people's crew actually, and turns out he was a bit of a coke dealer on one of the checkpoints. Ben Leeson, how are you, mate?
Yeah, never knew it was such a prolific commodity up in the hills in Avon Valley, but apparently it is.
Very good. And then one of the other corners of my screen is, look, another person that unfortunately didn't make it to the start line, but swapped her trail shoes and mandatory kit for, I guess, a TV screen, a live stream, and was everyone's cheerleader. Annika Keall, how are you?
I'm going okay. I'm slightly now feeling better out of my deathbed, but it was such a great weekend to watch from, unfortunately, behind my screen. But I've got the popcorn here ready to go to listen to all the incredible stories from the weekend from you guys.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then I'm continuing. And in another corner of my screen is someone that ran faster than my predicted time. Looks like he's gone through a midlife crisis by shaving his head. And he also fell victim to Vicky Richardson's face blindness. Michael Edgar, how are you, mate?
Well, mate, I'm not sure how many corners of the screen you think there are, but
many.
I've got a big screen.
It's like a hexagon, this hexagon screen.
no, I'm good, mate. I feel like I've been attacked by a mob of teenagers with trolley poles. Quads are very sore, but yeah, not too bad, in pretty good spirits, mate.
Yeah, very good, mate. And in the final corner of my funny shaped screen is someone that at the finish line gave me the middle finger, by beating my predicted time of hers and running a stellar time in the 65K. Vic Hunn, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I feel like I exited the aged care facility yesterday, but hobbling around, moving a little better today.
Well, looking forward to catching up with you all and your Saturdays. Well, let's start with you, Annika. Look, obviously in the last episode, and I guess in the lead up to Transcend, we were going through your training in the lead up to the 28K. Sadly, you didn't make it to the start line. Talk us through about what happened.
Yeah, it was such a unfortunate turn of events, I guess. I had such a great training block. I was so ready to go. Was feeling really fit and strong. And then the second my body heard taper, I think it thought, great, it's time to maximum rest. And I'm obviously around lots of kids in my job. So I got sick, and initially I thought it was just a cold. So this is probably the Saturday before the week of the race. So pretty much a week out of race week, race day. And yeah, thought it was just a bit of a cold. And then Monday, Tuesday, I thought I could still race. And then yeah, Wednesday it completely hit me. I got the full flu and it was horrible. So I had to make the decision to pull out. It was not a decision taken lightly. I still was thinking I could potentially race, or at least just attend the event and not race. But yeah, unfortunately, I was pretty unwell. Kind of on the mend now, but yeah, it's taken a bit of time.
Yep.
But it was, yeah.
So obviously having to make that call, was there any moment, I'm trying to remember what day you made that call, but was there any moment perhaps, the day before that, you were just thinking, fuck it, I'll just drive up and take a risk?
Yeah, for sure. On the Thursday, it was actually the Wednesday. I went back to work on the Thursday and I thought, you know what, maybe I can just Thursday Arvo just drive up. I had already booked the day off work the Friday. I can go up and, just immerse myself in it and just watch and cheer everyone on. And the two reasons that I chose not to do that was Thursday, I was pretty unwell still. In fact, I probably shouldn't have even gone to work. So I couldn't have imagined being able to get myself up to Perth. I was pretty unwell. And also, I didn't want to get anyone else sick. Obviously, it's a pretty intense environment with obviously people that are elite athletes, and I would hate to get anyone else sick. And yeah, you just gotta really look after your body and listen. My body was telling me that I was in overdrive and I need to rest, and I obviously hadn't been listening to it, so then it forced intense sickness upon me to then have absolute forced bed rest, to rest up.
And how are you feeling now?
I'm on the mend. I'm definitely not perfect. It's actually probably one of the worst flus I've had in such a long time. No matter how much zinc and ginger and garlic and honey and lemon I was chewing, it still did not steer away the intensities of the flu. So I'm definitely on the mend now. Had my first cycle, obviously on the weekend, watching actually everyone race on my little screen. That was for my first bit of exercise. And then today I went for my first run and that was all right. So yeah, getting back into the swing of things now, which is so good to hear and to feel.
Good. I guess, you offer a little bit of a different perspective actually for us, which was you were glued to the live stream for most of the day. So how was that experience in terms of seeing the broadcasts, seeing the results as they were coming through in the live updates?
Yeah, honestly, it was such an incredible experience. Last year, I actually had the opportunity to present on the broadcast as a host with Nate last year, and there was a bit of technical difficulties with just getting the footage across to the broadcast, and there was quite a few moments of Nate and I just looking at each other thinking, oh no, what else are we going to talk about? We have no footage. Everyone's just looking at our faces and they don't want to look at our faces. But I was so impressed this year. I absolutely commend Shane and Mitch and everyone at Transcend. It was such an awesome broadcast. I really felt like I was there. I could really feel the community that Transcend really brings to the Valley. And I had so much fun watching the broadcast and getting around the banter in the live stream chat. Even though I was sick, I still had a good time and I was able to watch everyone, and I definitely got FOMO, but yeah, it was such an incredible broadcast. I had so much fun watching that.
Beautiful. Were there any highlights from you, I guess, watching from the live stream, like any moments that you sort of saw that sort of stick in your mind still?
Definitely watching everyone fall in in the river and watching the different techniques of the river crossings. Some people had took their shoes off and had them around their necks as if it was like neck high sort of river crossing, which from I don't know, I wasn't there, but it didn't seem like it was that intense of a river crossing. But I could be wrong. It could be a bit of, perception difference with the broadcast to real life. But then there was also a guy had brought like plastic bags, bin liners, and put them in his feet and his legs, and he was walking across, holding these bin liners, his bin bags across to keep his feet and legs dry. But then it got caught on his, I don't know where, got caught on his shoe or something. He spent half its time at the end trying to take these sorry, it's so funny, take these bin bags off his legs, and and it was just falling apart. I just thought, mate, like yeah, you wasted about 5 minutes. I think your feet would be dry by the time you're trying to take them off. That was pretty funny. That was definitely my highlight.
I mean, Vic, you've done the full course. I don't believe the creek was that deep for that to be much of a problem, right?
No, I don't think it was that deep. That's why it's hilarious. I think the way I went, the fella's like, oh, there's a fella with the camera across the crossing. And he's like, you're the first person to go that way. I was like, oh no, I've gone the wrong way. So I was probably up to my knees. So I think maybe everyone else wasn't.
Yeah, fair.
It's definitely creative for sure.
Definitely. That's definitely new for me.
It's so interesting though, because like in a race like this, everyone gets such a different perspective of it. So you were obviously watching the stream. I didn't get to watch any of the stream because we didn't have much signal and we were in the car and getting from place to place. The guys that were running it were like at a different perspective again. Ben, you would have got a different perspective being like crewing and having specific people that you were crewing for. That's like it's really nice hearing about. I mean, I didn't even know there was a creek crossing where you were going to have to take your shoes off to get. I mean, it sounds like you didn't actually, but it was an option. But yeah, it's great. It's great to hear all the different views of like how everyone saw and experienced the day.
For sure.
All right, Annika, we're going to give you a bit of a break so you can start coughing in the background on mute. We'll move over to you, Ben. Obviously, not being able to line up to the start line of the 65K. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, the weeks leading up to race day and what was going on and what were the calls that you had to make?
Yeah, it was sort of the week after the PTS Truth or Consequences 25K that I did. Felt a little bit of soreness just in the left leg and ankle area that week, but continued with my running, my training. It wasn't getting any worse. It was getting a little bit better until the Thursday. And then during our Manning Park session, I normally do an hour beforehand, which it felt about the same, maybe a little bit worse. And then the Thursday, about 20 minutes, probably 5 or 10 minutes into the main session, really, I was like, oh, this is getting, quite sore. And then about 25 minutes into that session, I just told the other guys that I was with, I was like, no, I've got to call this here. It was getting really quite sore, and I ended up joining the hiking group for the last 40 minutes of the session. And there was a bit of a rude shock on Clint. Slump was actually leading the hiking group at that phase. So as I walked up the hill, or hobbled up the hill and joined them, it was a bit of a shock in his face. And yeah, by Friday morning, I could barely walk on my left leg. The pain was that excruciating. So I went in to see my physio, and yeah, props to Shane. He's like, oh, this doesn't sound good. Does sound sort of stress fracture-ish. He got me in for an MRI that afternoon, and had the results by Monday morning, which did show signs of a stress factor. However, what they were seeing was that it was about 95% healed. So I'd likely been running on that for quite a few months. And yeah, some sort of angry ligaments around there, and it didn't quite explain my issues that I was having and why it came on so acutely in one session, considering if it's so old. Then over the next week and a half leading into the race, I ended up getting a CT scan and an ultrasound just to sort of confirm what was there and rule out any major issues. CT showed much the same. And yeah, on the Thursday, when we got all my results back and that, Shane just sort of said, yeah, you know, looking at what's there and chatting with other people, if you can run, you should be okay to run. So at that stage, I'd been basically sitting off my feet and hadn't done anything at all for about 2 weeks. So I was like, yeah, you know, I'll make the call. Went out for a little jog. The first 500 meters didn't feel any more painful. And then sort of from about 500 meters in, this was just flat footpath at a steady pace. It started to get progressively worse, and at about 1.5 kilometers, I pulled the pin and hobbled back home, tail between the legs. And so, yeah, that's the end of that, unfortunately. So, yeah, that moment I decided, yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to start on the start line, which was a bit sad. But, yeah, I knew it was going to be a fun weekend anyway. I'd signed up to volunteer at the check-ins on Friday at Midland, and then and because I wasn't running, I was able to help crew some people that didn't have crew, which is always cool to help out where you can on the sidelines.
I mean, kudos to you to make it to this, like to the event, because I feel like if I was in your position, I'd probably spit the dummy, but and want nothing to do with the events. But you know, I guess were there any moments for you? I suppose maybe that run in the days leading out, I guess, cemented your decision. But was there any moments throughout that couple of weeks where you were getting those scans of, you know, do you just fight through the pain and just risk it for a biscuit? Or was it very much, look, if I'm not in any good nick, there was no point in racing?
Yeah, so probably a bit of both. Really, the scans and why we went into so much depth in such a short time frame was go, okay, if I do feel okay and I can run, am I going to cause further long-term damage? Was the big one. And then, yeah, there was a chance that if the pain's only a little bit, I could take some Panadol and run on it. And even if I do only get 25 k's before the pain gets excruciating, I was happy to at least try and give that a crack. Yeah, my K&a-half told me that wasn't even going to be a possibility, and that was on the flat. So yeah, there were some pretty dark days in there, some pretty sad days. 2 weeks of doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, it's tough. But yeah, it was good to get out there and yeah, onwards and upwards, and still not running and don't know when I will be next, but we'll see what happens.
Do you have like massive biceps and like shoulders? Have you just been like pumping upper body at the gym?
Yeah, there was some upper body days in the gym. I think I did about 5 days on the arms and shoulders and back. So I was cooked from that. And yeah, I might take up swimming or cycling for a little while.
Tell us about your experience on the day, you know, crewing and volunteering. What was that like?
Yeah, it was awesome. So Chess and partner had some mates of ours running the 40k event. So it's mid-pack runners. So the goal was we'll get to the start line for them and see them off. And then I was going to head to aid station 3, and I figured aid station 3 was a fairly perfect spot that I could sit and see basically most people, sort of the first half of the 40kers, and then the sort of front pack of the 65s, and then get to the finish line in the time to actually finish. So yeah, as soon as I knew I made that call, I sort of messaged a few people who I didn't know, who I knew didn't have much crew or much help there, and said, yeah, happy to help. So I think there was 3 people. So yeah, Billy and Ben from the East Coast running the 65 and the 40 that didn't have any support. So I crewed for them at that age. And then Chris didn't have any help either, so I helped him out at that age, so he didn't have to pack horse from the start as well. And yeah, I know being amongst it, I don't think I could have sat at home. It would have, the FOMO was bad enough being there, but I think sitting at home would have been horrendous. And it was, awesome to see everyone out there. You get the vibes and the experience just chatting away. I think I spent most of my day just chatting to, so many different people and helping out where I could. So it was, amazing to be part of.
Great. Back to you, Annika. I suppose, obviously you're on the mend, and originally the 28K was a stepping stone to bigger and better things. Is that still the game plan for you in terms of, preparing for that next race?
Yeah, for sure. It's unfortunate I couldn't get Transcend in. It's frustrating as it is, but there's always more things coming up. And at the end of the year, Mount Kosciuszko is definitely my race goal. But yeah, I've been thinking and toying the idea of the Hounslow Classic. It's in a few weeks' time over, excuse me, in the Blue Mountains. And it's just it's kind of, I'd say it's a Blue Mountains equivalent of Transcend. I haven't raced it before, but it just really brings a community sort of feel to it. Spectacular views, and it's quite a competitive sort of race. So I'm really excited to potentially, if I can, organise all the logistics side of things, get there in a few weeks' time and race that one. That's a 17K. And I believe it's probably got maybe 900 meters of elevation in that one. So if I can organise the logistics side of things, then I'll, try and get over there and get a race in. And then, in between Cosy, I'll, been honing in on my sort of like trail-specific sessions, and I'll try and race some more local races just to get some more races under my belt before heading into Kosciuszko. But it's still definitely the plan, and I'm on the mend. I'm running run today, so I'm definitely on the mend, and back to usual programming hopefully very soon.
Should I do a prediction, or would that just be a curse?
I'm kind of feeling like you got some curses in your prediction.
Yeah.
But I give you permission.
No, I feel like I need more research. I don't want to throw a wild time out there. So go.
Maybe a prediction is okay. Just don't come on the podcast and talk about it on a Road 2 series. That would be, or Trail 2. That would be a bad idea.
You've got two out of the 4 unable to compete.
Maybe I'll be quiet. No predictions from me. All right.
Annika, I was just going to jump in. If you don't get over to Hounslow, there's some pretty good local races with some decent vert coming up in the next few weeks as well. So, if logistics don't work out to get east, there's some pretty cool ones coming up locally.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really looking at, these are more September, October, but there's a Denmark one, which is near where I live. Just a fun one on the bib track near the beach. And there's also one up in the Stirling Ranges. Not hectic elevation, but still like a good fast half marathon race as well. But I'll try and get up to Perth if I can't get to Hounslow as well. Just a few more races, I think, is really beneficial.
Is it more the race?
Gravel,
sorry, Mike.
Is that Wild Gravel, the one in Stirling Ranges?
Yeah.
I did that last year. It was a well-run event, so...
Yeah, I'm really excited, and I think it's mainly a sort of biker run, mountain biker sort of race. So I've heard they're really good fun. They obviously have the running side of things as well. They actually have the untamed version, they call it, this year, and it's on more sort of trails than actual gravel itself. So I'm really excited to give that one a go.
Are you is the race more to get logistics right, like just to get into the zone of racing, or is there like a, I guess, technical component to the trail that you're looking to tackle as a stepping stone?
Yeah, I think for Hounslow specifically, I think I really like obviously there's quite a lot of competition generally that pulls up for Hounslow, the Hounslow Classic, and I think I am still just trying to knuckle down on my race strategies and mental strategies and all that sort of stuff I was talking about previously, just to really hone in on that. And yeah, like obviously no one's ever going to be perfect, but yeah, just trying to chip away at those sort of skills that I want to nail. So that leaning into Mount Kosciuszko, I kind of have like a firm idea of how I want to race, what I want it to feel like, and yeah, just the sort of, I guess, things that I need to improve on moving into the training block closer to Kosciuszko. And I think racing Hounslow or a race soon, after having a good block, will help to inform, I guess, the Mount Kosciuszko block, training block. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, all the best. You still coffee in the background. So look, appreciate your time making onto the pod record. Obviously, rest up. I'll send you my prediction offline just so that there isn't pressure of the podcast your way. But thanks for joining us on this podcast series, and looking forward to seeing how you go in the next couple of weeks and at Cosy as well.
And before you go, Annika, I just want to say, for me, you were such a hype girl on Saturday, and I was so impressed that you were far away and not well, but you were still like up at goodness knows what time in the morning, like probably about the same time as I was, 3:30, and constantly on the messages. And every time I got signal, I was getting messages from you coming through on the group chat and just hyping everyone up and getting everyone going. And it was really great to have your support, even though you weren't there in person. So I hope that I get to meet you soon. And yeah, best of luck with everything.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear. It was so much fun. I had to delete Instagram because I couldn't cope with the FOMO. But I just couldn't resist the broadcast. I was like, got to be here. But it was an awesome weekend. For sure.
All right. Thanks
so much, guys. Bye.
Thanks. See ya.
All right, we'll move on to you, Vic. So last time we chatted, you weren't feeling very confident or prepared. I think you barely knew what aid stations existed and what you were packing and all that sort of stuff. How were you feeling during taper and leading into race week?
Yeah, I guess leading into race week, it was fine. I guess taper is always hard, sitting around not doing much, but I felt okay. But I think on the day, I guess as I started to run, I didn't feel like I had a lot of power, and unfortunately started cramping early, and then I was just didn't set me up for a great day. But no, it was was feeling all right going in.
What were you how, like, in terms of logistics, how are you organizing your day, like getting to the start line, navigating potential crew or not a crew? Like, what were your plans around that side of things?
It's funny because my husband was running leg 1 and 2 in a team with some of his workmates. So and his goal was to run with me, and that slipped away quite quickly. And we thought he might make it to checkpoint 3. By the time I was in there, which he did, which was great. But I wasn't really sure because obviously he was having a big day and had a big run ahead of him. So it was hard to know logistically what was going to work. So I kind of just planned in case I didn't have any crew. So I got all my drop bags sorted. Obviously, like the day before they were due in at Midlands, I was up late packing them all and remembering that I forgot bits and pieces and everything because I'm super organized. So kind of got myself together, and then so just had them at the checkpoint. So if there was someone there to help me, wonderful, that would be awesome. But if not, okay, I had all the stuff I needed, hopefully, and would be good to go. So I think logistically we drove to the start line together. And because of the way the national park shuts at 5, we didn't make it back that day to get in the car. So we went back yesterday, and got it. So we got there, and then had family come and meet us with the kids at the finish line, so we had with extra cars, so that we had ways of getting home. But it was logistically difficult, particularly because he was in a team. So it was like you had to leave. And I appreciate you guys probably had a similar difficulty, and a lot of people did. Like you've got different people with different cars, different parts in the bush, all very difficult to access on roads. So and far away from one another. So like even I think getting from the end to the finish line to the start line was like an hour and a bit drive or something crazy. So it was quite a logistical operation, but obviously well worth it. But yes, did take a bit of planning, which is not my forte, but got it done and it was great.
I ended up putting it into Claude, Vic, and just saying, this is what we have to do at the weekend to give me a plan. And it mapped as a plan, which actually worked quite well with a little bit of manipulation from me. And we arranged it gave us a point that we would meet. I don't know how difficult or easy that felt for you, Simon or Brian, but that was what we did. And so I picked those, Simon and Brian both up from Whiteman Park, and then we drove. We had to go to checkpoint 2 to get Dom, who was our new leg 1 runner, and then we went to the start, and then Dom could then drive home because he had to head straight. So it was still logistically challenging, but I got Claude to do it for me because I was like, I can't deal with this. It's too hard.
Well done. It is a lot of brain power. A lot of brain power.
Yes, and you have enough to think about with your drop bags and your nutrition and carb load and sleep and everything else and life, everything else that you've got to do. So moving on to you, Mike, I just about recognised you today. That you've tried to trick me by shaving your head, so I'm not going to blame myself for not knowing who's on my screen. How are you feeling in the lead up to race day? Taper. Talk us through that. Talk us through your week. How you were feeling mindset wise, and kind of all your planning for the day.
Yeah, I was feeling quietly confident. Of just I had a really good block, so I was really excited to get out there and see how that kind of translates onto the race day, because you can put in all that work, but then sometimes these races have a way of throwing something different at you, and how you can kind of troubleshoot that. But I had tried things a little bit differently this time. I'd had a little bit of a shorter taper than usual, just because tapers haven't felt very good doing like a full 2-week taper. So I went on a bit of a shorter taper, but that didn't seem to help too much, because I still felt pretty crap on my runs, like the day before and 2 days out, just heart rate like through the roof. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Whether I'm not like an anxious person, but I don't know if it's maybe some conscious anxiousness that I have, or maybe even something to do with the carb load. Maybe just too much carbs is just kind of making my body work on overdrive. But I get some pretty weird heart rate things going the days before the races, which is interesting. But yeah, I was looking forward to the day. I felt like all the kind of work was there, and yeah, probably didn't quite have it's a strange thing, because objectively, I would have been really, really happy with that time. If you'd asked me, 6 months or 12 months ago that I'd run that time, I would have been really happy. But I think on the day when some things kind of go wrong, like as I think, and I got a lot of people, right, like with all the cramps, but I've never kind of had full body cramps like I've had there. So I definitely wasn't able to finish off the race the way I kind of wanted to, and which is really frustrating, because you put in a lot of work in the lead up to it, and all your training runs all feel like really, really good at the kind of the paces that you want. You think you have all your how you're going to attack things dialed in, and then you come to race day, and I found, like in the first leg, which was going through Paruna, on a climbing effort and pace that I thought was quite sustainable. My heart rate was jumping right up into the 180s, which is quite high. So the effort was pretty hot from the outset. I was still able to have a really, really good second leg. And then out of the aid station out of the last aid station, before King of the Mountain, my legs pretty much like seized up, quads, hamstrings. I had to stop like multiple times to try and stretch out the muscles. But when you're cramping from both sides, you try and ease your quads and it pings your hamstrings and vice versa. So
Yeah.
I didn't realise that they had pickle juice at the aid stations. In hindsight, I would have grabbed one of those, but I was just trying to smash down as much sodium tablets as I could and seeing if that would help. And it didn't help too much, and it probably led to like a bit of a slow bleed out on the last leg, which is a bit disappointing because mentally, aerobically, I felt fine. It just my legs just locked up. I think at one point, with like 2 or 3 Ks to go, I was doing like a skipping kind of thing because one leg was like completely locked and I couldn't bend it. And then I just kept stacking it down. Like I stacked it like 3 times because I just kept clipping rocks through that really technical section. So yeah, a frustrating day, but but on the bright side, like the time that I ran on an objectively bad day, I can't be too unhappy with that because I think there's probably a lot more in there, and I'm a pretty harsh critic on myself. So yeah, I think there's definitely some time to get there. I just haven't had that perfect day yet, which is so hopefully next time I can have that perfect day where everything clicks and you can put together like the whole performance that you're really, really proud of. But all in all, it was a good day, like really strong field, and yeah, I had a blast kind of seeing where I kind of stacked up against some of those guys.
Oh, I mean, it's an incredible time. We'll get to the results shortly, but I think that it sounded like I completely hear you on the cramps because I cramped so bad at Margaret River, and I couldn't. It's the worst thing. I don't think I've ever had cramps like that. So that was after aid 4, is that right? Where you were cramping? I know.
Yeah, so I was running pretty well through the middle of the 4th leg, and I did have a little bit of nauseousness coming into the aid station 4, but I was able to get that under control. And then I saw Mike Laurie on the sidelines, and had seen he'd pulled the pin, so I kind of knew that I was sitting in 4th position. I didn't know how far Luke Hutchison was in front of me, but I was like, okay, tried to rev myself up. I was just like in the middle of the forest, just like talking out loud to myself, just like trying to G myself up. And then like, yeah, you get those, out of aid station 4, everyone kind of talks about King of the Mountain, but you forget there's probably like these 2 really steep hills that before you get to King of the Mountain. So you're thinking about this long, slow climb, but then you come out and there's these 2 really, really steep, probably like 20 degree percent gradient out of aid station 4, and going up those. Yeah, that's when I started to feel the legs go, and then once I hit King of the Mountain, just just kind of everything went, unfortunately.
I feel like that part, having done that leg myself, the only leg that I have done, I think you probably are being that harsh critic on yourself that you were saying earlier, because I think that it's such a tough course, and those technical sections when you get to when you said you were clipping rocks, like that. It is. I can't imagine running that after what you would have run 35, 36, 7K by then. The other guys 60, well into the 60s, on tired legs. Really tough. It is a relentless course, isn't it?
Yeah, and I forget how every year I forget how technical it is, because a lot of it is kind of some kind of fire trail stuff, but it is really technical fire trail. There's probably a few spots where it's quite well groomed and maintained, but the rest of it will have a lot of big rocks, and if you're not concentrating, then you can roll your ankle, or you can trip over, and some of those really steep downhills can definitely smash your toes. It is a very sneaky technical course.
Yeah. Well, we've had Chris join us back now, so we will go to you, Chris, and to get you to just talk us through the lead up to the race and your what you watched at the cinema, because I'm keen to hear, and you know, kind of what was going through your mind in the last couple of days before you got to race day.
That's impressive.
What did you have for dinner?
I was genuinely concerned about on Saturday morning. Simon will tell you about the amount of carbs you consumed before the race. I was like, I'm really worried about Chris. I really hope he hasn't eaten too many carbs. I cared that much. Vic, can you please tell me that you don't know exactly how many grams of carbs you consumed on Friday?
I wouldn't have a clue, and I'm a dietitian.
Oh, good.
That's terrible. Chris, you put me to shame.
You are. We'll come back to you, Vic. Tell us, so logistics were challenging, but how were you feeling on the start line? Because that was a pretty cool experience, I imagine, for those of you that were starting the race at the start line.
Yeah, I think the site was unreal. I think because it was dark, you just like, I wouldn't know what it looked like in daylight. I hadn't been in the daylight before, but you felt like you were just huddled in amongst trees with a bunch of people, and that awesome light tunnel was very cool. And with such awesome runners and all the supporters around, like I feel like energy was really high. And it was it was fun to line up with some pretty big names in the sport as well. And surprised that like standing shoulder to shoulder with them, that they're not that tall. I don't know. Is it just? I don't know. I expected like all runners to be really tall, and they just weren't as tall as I was expecting. Maybe except you, Chris. That was the start line was really cool. Yeah, I thought it was really well set up. Smoking ceremony, like the light tunnel, just it all seemed to work very well. Yeah.
And then take us into the first leg or the first couple of legs of your race. How did you feel?
Yeah, I think like the beginning was like it was a fast start. I mean, I wasn't at the very front, but people just went flying off into the dark. And then after maybe only 50 meters or so, I looked up and saw Chris on a bib, and I'm like, Chris. And I was like, so happy to see you, Chris, because I hadn't seen you at the start line. So it was great to chat. However, that was very short-lived because you shot off into the distance up Mab, was it? So it was nice. It was fleeting, but it was good. And I think I do this every time I race. After about the first kilometre or so, I regretted not doing a warm-up. My legs were heavy, felt a little strained. My foot was sore, which I was used to, but my shins had sharp pains. I was like, this is not the fresh start I was hoping for. So I think for a little bit I was just holding on, waiting for a descent, so to get some relief on the legs. And I think going down into Bells, I slipped on my ass about 3 times getting down to the river. I don't know why. I'd done it a couple of times in training with no problem, but I think it was steep and there was loose rocks and it was a bit dewy, and I think I had someone on my tail, so I was probably just scrambling a little bit. And then, it flattens out a bit along the river, which is nice and fast and flowy, so that was really good. But still, not a lot of people around, considering I felt like we just started. There was already felt like where I was, there was quite a lot of gap between people, which I wasn't expecting. And then, I think rolled through checkpoint 1 actually without stopping. I think when I was planning it all, I thought, well, I'm not going to have crew. It's only an hour and a half or so into the race. I carry and train a longer run than that. So I'll just pack all my fluid, electrolytes, gels, and just keep moving. It's not long after I ran out of water and started cramping. I was for another hour or something of, I was hoping to be into the next checkpoint within about an hour. So I had to stop about 3 times to stretch out my cramps. So like Eggy, what you were describing, I'm like, oh God, that was like my day as well. It's like, it was hard, and having to stop when you're cramping. It's like it feels like you're losing time, but also like and you're watching people just pass you, and like it's painful, it's frustrating, and I feel like your legs then don't feel the same going on as well. I feel like they're not as strong as they were. And yeah, like usually I'd have some salt tabs on me, but I didn't expect to cramp so soon, so I hadn't planned for that. And of all places, the first place I started to cramp was like my groin, like deep groin, and I've never cramped there before. So I was doing these really weird split acrobatic stretches, like trying to get them out. And the point was just after the river crossing as well, and the lovely people that were doing the video, and their little boy was there. And I felt really bad, so I'm like, I hope I'm not scarring him permanently by doing
Should have asked Annika if that was on the live stream.
That's what I'm like, oh God, did they film everybody? I thought they were just filming the lead. So hopefully there's no like evidence of that. So yeah, I think the cramping was frustrating. I think I was well fueled, hydrated, rested. Although I didn't count my carbs, I'm pretty sure I had done pretty well in my lead up to it. Yeah, and I'd run that part of the course before in training with no problems. So not sure why the cramps got me, but maybe just that little extra intensity or excitement. And then I've kind of had this respiratory bug for a while and didn't think much of it. I just thought it's always snotty and whatnot with the kids. So don't know, but it's something I definitely, I guess like you, Mike, I feel like there's more. It could have been better. And would like to do it again, just to see if I could do better. So that was like the first couple, and then I think I got to checkpoint 2, where I got to my drop bag, and I had a few little salt caps in there. So I snacked them immediately with some Panadol and a lot of water. But shortly after, then again, ran out of water with about 45 minutes to the next checkpoint. Obviously didn't go very well. And I knew Paruna with all the stairs was going to be tough with cramping legs. Cramps were fine on the flats, but not up or down. And I'm like, oh God, Paruna is the worst section to be going through. But just kind of keep moving forward. So it felt slow. And it felt like I had a lot more to give, but the legs just couldn't get there. I had so much time. I was reading the group chat that you guys were sending as well, and Annika's updates.
Yeah.
I would send videos. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll just check in at least if Ben, I knew you were going to be at checkpoint 3, so I'm like, if you had any extra salt. So I'm so grateful for my walk family for helping me that time. So that was, coming into checkpoint 3 was awesome. I think seeing Rob and Ben and Vicky, and you guys were all hands on deck helping with the salt and refilling and refueling, and Ben, I was so grateful when you had the smarts to give me the extra water when I said I'd been running out of water, and you're like, you don't want an extra one? And I was like, oh no, I think I'll be right. But I feel like wise man. I think a runner doesn't know what they need after 37 Ks, and thank goodness, because I actually drank it all anyway and still ran out before the next checkpoint. So I was so glad you gave me the bills. And I think so. Then rolling into leg 4, 5. I was hoping to find a bit of rhythm, but the body was still struggling. So moving slow and it felt a bit fatigued. And there were the fences you had to cross. And I felt like my legs weren't that functional by then. So and there's a fella that was running behind me, had a good old giggle at me, didn't he, as I got to the top of one of the ladders and couldn't quite work out how to get down. I felt like a toddler learning to walk. I had to lower myself backwards, on all fours, and have to ease myself down into it, out the whole time. And then there was the sense you had to go under as well. And I was like, oh God, why? And he just seemed to squat and go under, and here's me lowering myself down on all fours, commando rolling under. He was just laughing. So I'm glad to have some entertainment factor for him. But yeah,
I
that
was
was
the
hard.
same, Vic. I dropped and just like pencil rolled through underneath that fence. I didn't
That
even
was
see it.
hard.
I did too, and I only did 12K.
I'm so glad. I feel like the
And
fellow that was with you was so graceful, and I was like this, I don't know, seal flapping around underneath, going, "Oh God, this is hard."
I also got to the top of the ladder and was like, okay, this is interesting. And then did exactly the same and turned myself around to get down. It was safety first.
Oh, that makes me feel so much better. Thank you. Because I felt like it looked really awkward and very slow. So yeah,
We
that was
check there was a
fun.
live stream on that too, or?
Oh, please no. I hope not. So embarrassing. This is where you're like lucky to be like running through the bush where there's no one around. I feel like there's like these road races, there's probably a lot more cameras and people and whatnot. So yeah, no, I'll stick to trails, I think. And yeah, I think it was raining pretty heavy at that stage as well. I can't remember what happened after that. I think leaving checkpoint 4 was a bit of a mood lifter. I think because like only 12 or so Ks to go in uncharted territory. I couldn't remember the elevation profile. Surprise, surprise. So I was like, didn't know what to expect. I knew there was the Queen of the Mountain, King of the Mountain was coming up, but I figured I'd just give it a crack, just plod along. So yeah, and I knew it was going to be hard when my legs weren't really operating. So I was like, knuckle down, just keep moving. And actually, I found it really cool seeing all the shorter distance runners on the course, like the hikers and teams and whatnot. It was actually nice seeing other people sharing encouragement and whatnot, and also just making sure I was reassurance that I hadn't gone off course as well. Especially because it was points where it was quite rainy. And I hadn't seen any course markers for a while. And I think because it was rainy, you're kind of not really looking up so clearly and it was just a bit foggy and blurry. So it's like when you see another human, you're like, oh, thank God, I'm in the right place. So that was good. And then, yeah, as the finish got closer, I felt I was at a pace where I could have kept running. I was feeling in good spirits and I probably could have gone for another 30, 40 Ks, but I just had no more pace in me. I just couldn't. I could keep going, but I could not go any faster. So I was just moving, and that was my pace. And I knew I was well under my average pace of what I was hoping to achieve, but I had no idea what that meant in the scheme of things like finishing times. So I was like, but it didn't matter because I was like, this is it. I am moving at max speed right now. So yeah, it was
finish.
Oh, mate, the finish. Yeah. That was how often do you get it? Well, I wouldn't say I was sprinting, but it was a close finish for a trail, for a 65K, hey.
Yes.
Yeah, I caught Brit with about maybe 2K to go. That was a little river crossing, and she said she was moving slowly. So I kind of passed her at that point, but she kind of kept just hung with me. And it was great chatting to her, our joint suffering. And we got to a point where I could hear the finish line. And you could sounded like it was awesome. I was like, oh God, okay, we must be close. It can't be that too far. So I just tried to hit my next gear to try and pull away, I suppose, or just give it everything I had. But I think I probably cooked it a little too early because I got to I turned the corner and then saw the finish line. I'm like, oh my God, the hill. It doesn't seem that bad, but when you're sitting at the bottom of it and you're trying to push and oh God, I just overdid it. So I couldn't move any faster and she smoked me on that hill to the finish. She found her next gear, which I just didn't have. The hill was brutal, but credit to Brit. She had a great race.
Yeah. No, that was an awesome finish. I saw the video of it earlier, and I was watching her Instagram actually. Do you think that the weather? Actually, question to you, Vic and Michael, because you've both talked about cramps. Do you think that the weather, the temperature, had something to do with that, and how did it feel for you? Because it's very different. I only did a very small amount of the run, but the race. Did you think that played into it?
I think it did. I think usually at the race or even training runs, I would have like extra layers on at the beginning. And at the big start line, I was just wearing my regular, I didn't have any jumpers or anything. Like, it wasn't a cold morning. And I guess starting in the dark, and when you've been training in the same time of day and it's been cold, you're probably not expecting to need to drink as much. This is my thoughts anyway. So I wonder, and me just going through more water than I had anticipated, I don't think was necessarily terrible planning. I don't think I was that, but I think it was because it was just warmer than I was expecting. So I was drinking more than I was expecting. So I think that probably was an element to that.
Yeah, I think it was a bit kind of sneaky humid too. I did I put an ice bandana on at the first aid station. So I didn't feel hot, but I must have been sweating a fair bit. And there were so many people that I spoke to, like even in the 40K, like Luke and Joel, they both said that they were cramping pretty bad too. So I think it must have been one of the days where bit warm, it was overcast, so that a little bit of that humidity where it kind of you're not able to kind of, the sweat doesn't really help you, it just kind of clings to you and you probably just sweat more. So I think that probably did play a little bit of a part.
Yeah. Back to you, Chris. I'm going to hand back to Simon because I need to go and get a charger. But whilst you tell us, I will do that. Talk us through your race. How did it go? Because it looked awesome from the outside.
From the outside, definitely there was a lot of turmoil on the inside, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, no, it was good. So I started my morning at Midland train station, caught the bus, sat next to Josh Ty on the bus the whole way there, so talked all things, his running and also the things that Herdsman Harriers have got going on in this kind of 5K race that he's got coming up, which is interesting. But no, so obviously Josh ran it last year, came fourth, ran like 6:40 or something like that. Really impressive last year, and so he was hoping to run around the same. So yeah, got to the start line, got my tracker. Somehow got gifted a tracker, ended up talking to a whole bunch of people. It was great to see a lot of people that I knew at the start line. Saw a whole bunch of people from Double, a few guys from work who actually had put together a relay team, and their goal was to basically beat me. So, which they did, unfortunately. But no, yeah, it was good. I love the vibe down there. I think I bumped into Mitch briefly, and yeah, don't think I saw Shane at the start, but the smoking ceremony was cool, as Vic said, and then. Yeah, I doing leg one last year. I kind of knew what to expect, and what the terrain was like. So thoroughly enjoyed doing that again. And then having Vic kind of shout over my shoulder that she was there was cool, because that first group really shot off, and I was already kind of within the first kind of couple of 100 meters. I felt like I was 50 meters behind everyone, so there was a big gap between Vic and I and the next group. And so we were chatting for a bit there, and then Vic, you said that I was going to be your official 8-hour pacer. So apologise if I got carried away a little bit there, but I kind of went up that first climb and got to the top. Beautiful sunrise. And going through that first whole leg again, I love that waterfall section. That's really cool. There was guys that were running next to me, and they're like, "Oh man, that first climb was hard." And I was like, "We'll just wait till the next one." That was good fun. And then got through to Aid 1. So actually, before I get to that, so you guys were talking about cramps. I literally had these kind of calf cramps like within the first 2 or 3K. Like, I don't know why. I had warmed up. I hadn't gone for a jog, but I had gone through a full routine of stretching and active dynamic stretching. But I had this kind of weird kind of dead leg for the first, my left leg was dead for the first kind of 2 or 3K, which was really kind of concerning. And so but once I got down that first that descent, it came good. So I was happy to and relieved not to see that again. but yeah, kind of got to the first aid station, and yeah, there was like Vicky, you were there, Brian was there, Simon was there. There's a whole bunch of people there. It was really, really good atmosphere. You kind of come up the hill out of the path there, and yeah, had a good laugh. Still had a smile on my face. Things were good. I was enjoying life. And yeah, kind of then from that point on, when it was kind of unknown, I didn't know what the rest of the course was really going to look like. So I went into leg two. I think I really enjoyed leg two. Yeah, it wasn't wet yet, so that mudslide section wasn't particularly muddy at all. And for the most part, I spent that leg talking to. So I ended up running with Josh Tiger like for that kind of most of leg two, which surprised me because I was like, "Am I either running too quick or what's happening here?" Because I knew that his expected finish time was probably 40 or 50 minutes ahead of me. So. That did scare me a little bit. I bumped into Cam De Silva and was chatting to him for a while. And yeah, just cruising through leg two, felt good. Got to the aid station where again there's that kind of you got the big bonfire in the middle there, and yeah, I that was the first time where like I was a bit overwhelmed, like from the occasion of it all, because like you're coming through and there's all this stuff happening and there's people shouting at you from every direction, and that felt really like while I really appreciated all the support of people like saying, "Hey, go Chris," whatever. Like I was so overwhelmed, and like I knew what I had to do to change my bottles and stuff, but I like my brain wasn't working, so. Fortunately, Brody Clark jumped in and helped me there at A2, and yeah, just kind of got me fill my bottles up for me, or held my bottles and filled them up for me while I was like pouring my carb mix and stuff in. And then yeah, bumped straight through to leg three into Paruna, and yeah, I felt quite strong through leg three. Like the stairs. I think it's one of the most beautiful sections of the course. Like it feels like a bit of a wonderland in there. Just all this kind of overgrown kind of forest, and yeah, kind of crawling up these stairs. I don't think I was running much of it, to be honest, but looking at my splits, I looked like I was still moving pretty well, and I don't think I had anyone overtake me through leg three. So including like the relay guys. So there were a couple of people behind me who I knew of, who I could see were trying to catch me, who were running relay legs, and I was like, I'm not going to let these people catch me. I don't want any part of that. So I kept pushing myself through leg three, and I think that probably cooked me a little bit, to be honest. But and I went into that knowing that I shouldn't do that, but I did it anyway. So yeah, that leg three was fun. Got to aid three, and that's where I knew I was expecting Ben. So Ben had kindly offered to, kind of sort me out with my gels at aid three, which we'd organised on the Friday, and so he had 8 or so gels. Brought a couple of big salty sachets with him, which was much appreciated, and that was kind of the most like. It was like an F1 pit stop. That's what it felt like. You go in. I saw Ben. He waved me down, and so that kind of made me a little calmer. And then I just kind of stood there while Ben and his mates all just started like pulling parts off of me and like just filling bits up. Ben gave me a Coke. I chugged this Coke, and then it was just like, yeah, my gels go here, my bottle goes there, and like just like it was like, yeah, I could hear the ratchets kind of going off, and. It was really nice. Gave Ben a big high five and a hug. Saw you again, Vicky, with Brian, and yeah, I was off again. So yeah, that from that point onward, that's kind of 40 k's into the race, and I knew that it was going to get pretty hard from that point onward. And yeah, I think it really like it got harder earlier than I thought it was going to be. So leg 4, I knew that it's not. On the profile, that the profile's not particularly hilly, but I think it's like net uphill most of that, and then it's kind of these rollers, and so while it's not particularly tricky terrain, yeah, I found it quite lonely because yeah, you're running alongside that train line, and there weren't. I think I had one guy overtake me through there that was running the 65, but there was a bunch of people in the relay that kind of overtook me there, and there was some hills that I just for the life of me, I couldn't mentally overcome. Like, they weren't particularly big, but where I would typically have gone and run those continuously in a training run, I struggled a bit. So by the time I got to aid 4, and then Nancy was shouting my name over the microphone and asking me how I was feeling, I think all I had to say was, I'm wrecked. That's all I had. I had nothing else to give. And then, she asked me if I needed any nut butter, and I said, no, I'm actually pretty good on that front. my balls are intact. So, that was a surprise. Actually, I didn't have any chafing, but again, JP, shout out to JP. He kind of did a lot of the grunt work there. Vicky helped me out as well, gave me a big cuddle, and then sent me on my way. And what was that? We're up to like 52K, and I don't really remember much of the next 10, to be honest. I was kind of that king and queen of the mountain section. I was looking at it. I was like, this is not a very steep hill. Like, I can run this, but like I didn't know where I was going to fall, if I was going to fall off a cliff at some stage. And so, there were sections where I was just power hiking. Like, I had no poles, but I was like walking as if I had poles and punching the air. And I probably looked like an absolute, like a drug lord, just walking around. But finally got to the top of that. And by the time I got on the descent of that, my legs were shot. And I just started to, I think my guts started to fall apart as I was going down. And it's that section where you climb over the ladder. I did that. And then that's one of those funny things where you climb. I felt like I was going to climb up onto that ladder and spin around and then go back the way I came. That's kind of like how mentally cooked I was. I just felt like I was on a bit of a lazy Susan. Anyway, went down this descent. Guts felt awful, and there was people behind me who I'd overtaken in the previous kind of couple of Ks, and I was like, well, I don't want them to see, because I'm wearing a bright white shirt. I don't want to see this people. Like, if someone watched me like disappear off into the bush. So as soon as someone overtook me, I looked behind me. There was no one up the top of the hill, so I ducked 150 meters off into the bush and treated myself to a little bush bog. And after that, I felt $1,000,000. Like, I just need, that was 7 hours and 10 minutes in, and that was longer than I had ever thought it was going to get. So
do you remember leaving a voice note in our WhatsApp group?
Are you going to play it here live or
no? I was trying to actually find it, but I couldn't find it. I'll slot it in at some point in this episode.
Yeah, well, it wasn't pretty. I'll put it that way. I do remember what I described it as, and I probably won't repeat it. I'll leave it for the voice note. But cleaned myself up. I probably wasted 3 or 4 minutes doing that, and I've never having to hold a free squat for 3 minutes when you've just run 60 odd Ks is not ideal. I'll tell you.
Was there a moment where you went, fuck, I might be stuck here?
I might just roll back into it, like a turtle. But
with a white shirt too.
Anyway, I think once I got that done, the mental load was gone, and I felt pretty hyped to be able to enjoy the last kind of 4 Ks of the race. And even though there's that kind of sharp climb, you get to the top of that fence section, and then you cut into the kind of farmland. That farmland section's I didn't expect that. Like that, where that kind of, you're running across that like mossy, dewy grass, and there's those kind of rocky sections. And I rolled my ankle twice there. It was like kicking stones and all sorts. And then you kind of climb up over those rocks. And I think I bumped into Maluka Bancroft there. I said, "How you going?" And she was like, yeah. And then she just kept talking. And I was like, I don't know if she was talking to me or if she was just trying to hype herself up. I think she was going through a bit of a bad patch herself. So, we exchanged a few words, and then we kind of traded places a bit here and there. And we were trying to help each other direct where we had to go, because the kind of it felt a bit sparse at that point, or just at least in my brain it was sparse. But yeah, I got to enjoy that final section where you run over the hills down to the fence, and then you can hear the finish line at that point, and then I knew what was coming after that, and then as soon as I hit that kind of ascent back up to the finish line, yeah, like that as one of my friends described it today, that orgasmic crying started, and like I just like I get to it just happens where I got completely overwhelmed with emotion, kind of coming up to the finish, and then as soon as that crying started, this nice gentleman came and ran up to me with a camera in my face and started going like, "How you going, man?" And I'm like, and he ran with me the whole way up while like tears are streaming down my face, and I'm running up this hill, and like there was no pain anymore. It was just kind of like kind of a bit of just sheer bliss, really, and got to the finish line. And then, unbeknownst to me, Maddie had driven to the finish line to meet me there. So got a nice surprise, got a nice little smooch on the finish line from Maddie, which was nice. Had a hug and a little cry while the camera was still watching. So that was good. And then bumped into everybody, and it was just one of those life experiences that probably will probably go unchallenged for a while in terms of how special that is, because like running a marathon, you know what to expect, but doing something you've never achieved before, and in an environment where you've got like a lot of good friends around you, I think it's like pretty special. So it was such an exciting finish line, and then got to watch you come up not far behind me, Vic. So it was like we weren't all that far apart in the end, but probably should have just run together from the start.
Yeah, you're a terrible pacer. I lost you.
Yeah, absolute shocker. Yeah.
Obviously, coming into it, you were hoping for a sub-8 finish, Chris, and you 15 minutes below 8 hours. Were you surprised? I suppose, were you paying attention to the time at any point, or were you just going through the motions of just getting through certain obstacles of each leg?
Yeah, like I knew that I knew the course profile, a lot of the elevations at the start, right? So you kind of go a lot of up and downs through the first 3 legs. And so I knew I had to get through leg 2 and 3 and have something left to give, which I inevitably didn't do. I went too hard. So, but the mantra that was going through my head the whole time was just keep moving forward, don't stop. So even if I was only hiking, I was trying to hike like 9-minute Ks. Like I was really pumping the arms. So like, what was your question again, Si? Sorry, my brain's just gone.
I guess, were you paying attention to the time?
Yeah.
Or and knowing that you were, well under sub-8, I'm sure at one moment, like, did that go through your mind at all?
Yeah, for sure. Well, when I was running with Josh, I knew that I was probably like well under 8. I wasn't really looking at what the ETA was yet, but when I got into midway through leg 3, and I still saw that my ETA was around 1:30, I was like, "Fuck, I'm actually like doing really, really well." But I knew that like I was probably burning a couple of bickies, and so I expected that I was going to lose a bit of time, but I probably didn't realize how much time I'd lose. So I think midway through leg 4, my projected like arrival time was about 1:36. But knowing that there was the climb up to Queen of the Mountain, and just knowing that my brain had started to fade pretty heavily, like I was wary that I was probably going to drop another 10 minutes off that at some point. And I don't know how that calculator works, like on the watch, like if it's just taking your average pace and projecting it out, or because it was kind of fluctuating. It would go up to like 140, and then it would come down to 136. But then it got up to about after I'd done that, the poo, it got up to about 149, and I was like, I really want to get under 750 now. Like I'm not really set on just kind of getting under 8. So I did give it a little squeeze like through that final section to try and really bring it down. And it wasn't until I got to the finish line that I actually knew. I saw like the clock that said 7:45, and I was like, oh shit, I'm actually quite impressed with that. But yeah, I to be honest, like I looking back at it, it's something I've never done before. So I would love to say that I could have found another 10 minutes on the course to say like I could have just kept running up the King of the Mountain section and probably chopped 5 minutes out there. I might have gone a little faster through leg 4, but that's really easy to say after you've done it. And given how my legs felt at the finish line and today, 2 days later, yeah, realistically, I probably gave it absolutely everything that I could have given it. The only thing that I should have done is hopefully not gone for a poo, and I would have got myself a 7:40 or a 7:41. But what do you do? I mean, that's running. That's obviously trail running. You get the opportunity to do it in nature rather than at a porta potty. But yeah, learn the hard way.
Yeah. Vic, I guess a similar question to you. Like, you know, we were talking about predictions in the last episode, and you were kind of pretty content with 8 hours 10 as a potential time. I guess throughout the whole race, were you thinking about time and, you know, were there any moments where you went, oh shit, you know, sub 8 is a possibility and realistic and aiming for that?
That's a good question. I actually had no idea what time I finished in when I finished. I just wasn't looking at the time at all, actually, which in hindsight is crazy. But I think during the race, I was just working on, I had in my mind, I had it wrote on my hand because I thought I'd forget, like roughly the times I thought I should be getting into checkpoints to get the time that I was aiming for, I suppose. So like just knowing like, okay, I was meant to be in like a checkpoint, what was it? 2, I'm like, okay, I want to be there by 3 hours. So, and then it's like from then it was just knowing what time of day I was expecting to come in. So I found like that, and I was behind from the first checkpoint. So I mean, I did put a high target that I was aiming for, knowing that it like on a good day I possibly could have achieved it, but knowing that if I didn't, that's okay. I still had a bit of a buffer to come in under the like what I was hoping to achieve around 8 hours. So, and I think when I was leaving last checkpoint, well, no, I don't even think I looked at my time then. I think coming into it, I was like, oh God, I'm like 20 minutes or probably more actually minutes behind what I was hoping to be at that checkpoint. I'm like, oh, like, but didn't think of that as I didn't think about my finishing time. I was just thinking about just knowing how long it was until that point. So no, I didn't really. And I had an average pace that I thought would be good to like be targeting. So I was kind of watching my average pace over the whole thing, knowing that obviously it changes as you go up and down and whatnot. But I just saw that creeping up and up and up. And then I'd hit like a down and be like, the downs actually were sometimes slower than the ups because they were so unrunnable. And then you hit it flat and you're like, oh, it's creeping down again. I'm like, maybe I'm getting closer. But I was so far off what I had was hoping to achieve, but so I probably wasn't paying that much attention. Yeah.
but still managed to get it done.
Yeah, apparently. How good. I had no idea. I mean, like I said, I think it was that part as well as like I just had no speed. Like I was just running at my pace and there was just no way I could have pushed just to go faster than what I was. So it was almost irrelevant. I was just looking.
Excellent. Vicky, you had a chance to chat to Vic's partner. Is that right?
I did. Yeah. So at checkpoint, it was checkpoint 3, wasn't it, Ben?
Yeah,
That's
checkpoint
right.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually a lovely. It was great. There was a DJ. The vibes were high, and I stood there and got the video of when you came in and you were getting crewed by Ben so expertly, and then you just had this lovely moment where you gave each other a hug, and I was like, oh, I'm going to cry. So emotional. And then I went over and introduced myself to Ben because I recognised him, and then I also was introduced. Ben introduced me to Rob, Vic's partner, and he just shared a few words with us. So I don't know whether that cues it.
Yep. I will press the play button.
Yeah, so Vic just loves running. She's like that little terrier that you have on the trails where you might be in the pain cave and then up past comes running past you this little 5'1" terrier, loving life and just wants to have a chat. So she just loves it. Vicky, you asked me about I'm actually quite supportive here. I've just done the 25Ks, ripped it here to come and try and crew her, and I'll go to the next station now. And we got 3 little kids. They're 8, 6, and 4, and it's great because when she runs, it's her time. She's not a mum, she's not a wife, she's her, and I really support that. And it's actually really good for us, and we compromise really well with each other over that because we allow each other the time. So all kudos to her. Let her go. See how good she can be. So look, she loves it. She loves it, and she comes through. She's like, she's not having the best race ever so far, but she's coming in chirpy, loving it, and off she goes. Right, like. You can't not support, and she loves all the support with everyone here. Like she appreciates that trail running and ultras is a team sport. She's the Formula One driver, but it's the crew that helps. So all for it. Like get more mums into it because you'll get your time.
How goes that?
Rod's really supportive, which is awesome. I could do it without him. Otherwise, it would be really hard carrying 3 kids on every training run, and dragging them to the bush every weekend. I think they would do it.
I imagine prams on the trails would be rather difficult.
Oh, too hard. I have no upper body strength to be pushing that anyway. I haven't got it in me. No, I was for him to have done those first 2 legs and then like try and leg it in the car with all the logistics and whatnot, like get his team members set up and then I think take their car or whatever was the situation to get to the next checkpoint for me was impressive and not to be taken for granted. I think crewing is it's not until you don't have a crew that I feel like you really appreciate the crew. It's like Chris, you've mentioned, like you come into aid stations just like in a daze, don't you? And you're like, there's just so much going on. You don't really know what you want, and you probably should have had hours to think about it, right? But you don't. In the moment, you're like, what do you want? What do you need? And it's just your hands don't function properly to be filling up your drink bottles and unscrewing bottle lids and pouring in electrolytes and whatnot. So to have someone like a friendly, smiley face there to just be like, let me help you, makes such a difference. Yeah, so very lucky.
Excellent. I feel like it's hard to follow your recaps with our team relay recap, Vicky. What do you reckon? Do we talk about our team relay at all?
We did the relay and we didn't die.
End of recap.
I will just talk about a couple of things that I loved about the event. I absolutely, because these were more obvious, I think. Well, this was certainly more obvious to relay teams than it was to any of you that were doing the event. I think that Shane and Mitch did an awesome job at the directional signage at every aid station. So if anyone was in any doubt about where to go, how long it was going to take them to get to the next aid station, all they needed to do was scan the Google Maps QR code on a big sign next to the checkpoint and read the information that said it's going to take you approximately 14 minutes to drive from there to there, and it's going to be this many Ks. It gave me so much reassurance that I was going the right way. I was like so impressed with that. Other events I've done that are similar to this, not as well organised, so they should take note. I also absolutely loved seeing the tree planting on leg 5, which it took me a minute to clock what was going on. And then the person that was planting the trees was like stood up cheering me on and clapping. And I was like, this is awesome. So for those listening that wouldn't know, instead of giving out finisher medals, they planted a tree for every finisher. But they actually planted the trees on the course, which probably was in the race information somewhere, but I did not read that. And so it was a surprise to me to see them doing it. And I just thought that was just lovely. The whole thing from, yes, a logistically challenging race, but so worth it. Could not speak more highly of this event. Absolutely loved it. We'll be back next year to do something in some shape or form.
As in, not a team relay and a solo event, Vicky?
Well, no, I think that was what you said, wasn't it, Simon? No, I have not said that. I have not committed to anything yet.
No comment for me. All right, let's keep moving along. Maybe we'll go to what's next for people. Maybe we'll start with you, Ben. What's next for you? Obviously, trying to be on the mend, but what are you hoping is your next race?
Yeah, the goal is to still lucky enough to make it to the Australia team for the Asia Pacific Trail Championships in China at the end of November. So I'm on the team for the long course there, so 83 Ks and I think about 4,500. Right up your alley, Simon, I think. So the goal at this stage is to do what I can to make that team and get there fit and healthy. But yeah, we'll see what the next month brings. And yeah, just recalculate if I need to, but that's the goal for the tail end of the year.
All right. How about yourself, Mike?
Also, I'm signed up for the City to Surf next Sunday.
What?
So I'm in a tight turnaround to see what my body will allow me to do there. But
Vicky said it's easy.
Sorry?
Vicky said it was easy.
Yeah.
I'll see you there, Mike.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, those hills should look like nothing compared to the ones that we did running, and hills on roads, nothing compared to.
You'll be fine.
And then, probably the next big one is Feral 50K in November. So once I'm all kind of recovered from this and City to Surf, wanting to try and get in a good block for that. I have a bit of redemption from last year. So, I've got some kind of big runs planned in the lead up to that. Might try and get down to Stirling Range Ridge with Joel Gray in September is the plan. So in training for that.
Excellent. How about yourself, Vic? What's next on the agenda for you?
Yeah, I think after my cortisone injection into my foot today, I've been told not to run for a little while. So that's not easy, but I hopefully can get back into it quickly because I've got, Feral doing my first 100 miler in, I think it's about 10 weeks. So I'm super pumped for that, really, really excited. So hopefully I can get back into it and get a couple of good blocks in before then. And then obviously I'll have to knuckle down and prepare for Triple C in Europe next year. So I need to find a lot of vert and muscular endurance before then. A lot. So they're the two main things coming up, and I'm sure I'll find maybe bits and pieces to fill in between then, I hope.
Yeah. I mean, I hear a Stairmaster is pretty good workout.
Gotta look into it.
How long is a while, Vic, that you've you won't be able to run for?
Well, different people are saying different things. So there's definitely like 48 hours of like try not to do anything, and then possibly maybe a couple of weeks without running, but hoping I can do some sort of cross training in the meantime to try and keep fitness up. And then we'll see. Yeah, I don't really know. Unfortunately.
We can hang out together, Vic. It's all right.
Awesome.
And finally, Chris, you're now an ultra trail runner. Again?
Yeah. It's funny because like a lot of people asked me when I was still very raw at the finish, like, so are you a trail runner now? Like, I think Mike, you might have asked me that. Like, what's the next trail run? And I think my first instinct was to say never again. But like
It was this.
honestly, that was like I said earlier, that was one of the craziest experiences I've ever put myself through. And I don't think you ever feel quite so alive as to when you think, when you are kind of going through those really dark moments on something you've signed up for and paid money to do. But yeah, look, I will admit the last kind of 24 hours I've been looking up feral 50K. I've been looking up.
Yes.
I've been looking up.
That'll be a showdown.
100 miles. 100 miles.
The 100-mile pacer, yeah.
Eggy and Chris on the 50K lineup.
Look, I have looked at that. I've looked at a couple of other things like Kunyani. There's a whole bunch of stuff that has kind of been running through my brain. But like in the deep depths of my heart, I want to run a really fast marathon. I do want to do that. But this was this like whole exercise of training for the trails, meeting you guys, training for this incredible event, and then executing it has been such a kind of such a overwhelmingly positive experience for me. So that like it's kind of, I think I'm a little hooked. Yeah.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Does Maddie know about this?
Not yet.
And is she within earshot? Or, I mean, she doesn't listen to the podcast. It's fine.
Fortunately not, but she's watching television out of earshot at the moment, I think. So just got to talk really quietly for the next 10 minutes.
If you get into UTMB, then you guys can go to France. Nice tripled as a family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law lives in Geneva, so like it would be an easy one to get over Chamonix and run 160 kilometers or whatever it is. So
Amazing.
yeah, one day we'll see. But it is really cool. It's completely different to road running. And I think one of the voice messages I might have sent you, Simon, was like, this is while I was in a good mood. I was probably about 34 Ks in. I said something along the lines of like, if you're thinking about challenging yourself and doing something like a little bit out of the box, like you have to give yourself the opportunity to sign up for something like this to really test not just your physical fitness but your mental fortitude and just like your level of your willingness to commit to like a kind of training that you haven't undertaken before. And I think hopefully it makes me a better runner. Hopefully I'm not injured for the next 3 months. But I think it's really special. So yeah, to anyone listening, go out and do something, challenge yourself, and it'll only make you stronger.
You just need to get your partners at A-OK, and 5-hour long runs is fine.
Exactly. And if you haven't got a partner, you've got no excuse.
Very good. Very good. All right, we'll round the episode out with, I guess, results in terms of the podiums. Chris, do you have the run sheet open by any chance?
I do, mate. Yeah, I can run through the results. So just bear with me a second. My brain.
I'll start because I am on it. So starting with the 65, the females. So at the 65K was taken out by Holly Ranson I'm seeing to zoom in because my pixelated screen in 6 hours 35 minutes. Is that a course record? I did not look that up.
That
I'm
is
assuming
a new course record by about 10 minutes, I think it is.
Yeah.
Off Erica Laurie's, that's held it since 2024, I think. And my first year, I think Erica got that.
Yeah.
After 120K Barrador
last week too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unfathomable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Holly was also third on the Queen of the Mountain as well. So for the context, the Queen of the Mountain, King of the Mountain segment is a 3K uphill climb that is at 50 7:58k, something like
Yeah,
that.
about that.
Would it be around
Yeah.
that? So she'd done that distance, then got third on the Queen of the Mountain segment, and then finished in that incredible time. So she was well ahead of second place Kelly Emerson, who actually looked awesome when I saw her in a couple of checkpoints. She finished in 7 hours 14, 31 seconds, followed by Christy Laurie in 7 hours 25 and 8 seconds. For the men, Charles Hamilton finished in 5 hours 39, which was also a course record by about 15 minutes. Is that right?
Yeah, I think Josh Chuggs was 5:55. So,
Yeah. Billy Curtis second in 5:59:27, and Federico Croava in 6 hours and 29 minutes 53 seconds. Then for the 40k, Petra Gerardian, familiar name on the podcast, finished in 4 hours 10 minutes 25 seconds, followed by Abby Watson in 4 hours 20:58, and Jerry Viros in 4 hours 43 and 6 seconds. The males, Ben Burgess was first in 3 hours 24 and 54 seconds. Joel Gray, previous guest and one of our pacers for Bunbury, second in 3 hours 28:20 seconds. And Luke Hutchinson was third in 3:41:37. And a very special shout out to our very own Michael Edgar. Recognise the name. It's 3 hours 51 and 27 seconds.
Just not the face.
Got my revenge on Petra.
Not the face. Recognise the name. I know I know that you feel some disappointment with them, but amazing, absolutely amazing. In my opinion. The 28k, so Jennifer Bohr was the first female in the 28 in 3 hours 13:39 seconds, followed by Hannah Kelly in 3:25:26, and Ashley Jalig. I can't even, my eyesight is terrible. In 3 hours 26:16 seconds. There's some close times there for the finishers. And for the males, Chris Council was first in 2:24:02, followed by Justin Mulhare in 2:39:46. I believe he's a friend of yours, Simon.
Good friends. When I was hurting and on leg 4, I just heard this like loud Irish yelling in the background. And something to the effect of, "That is pathetic downhill running, Simon," and then he just whizzed past me.
Lovely.
Yeah,
How encouraging.
Yeah.
And then Paul Barrett rounded out the podium for the 28 in 2:41:45. Shall I carry on?
Oh, yeah, might as well.
12?
Yeah.
So the 12K was 2 laps, wasn't it, of the finish area? I think.
That's the 6k course, just near the finish there.
Yeah. So Sandy Franco was the first female in 1 hour 15:29 seconds, followed by Abby Robinson in 1:17:16 and Sharon Meaden in 1:18:56. The men's race was taken out by Caelan Bennett in 51 flat, followed by Mike Cresswell in 58:46 and Jack Wallace in 59:06. I'm really enjoying these very easy names to pronounce so far on these results. Really good. In the 6K females, Rose Murfitt was first female in 44:07, followed by Mags Hughes in 45:11 and Charlotte Keys in 45:47.
What? Nothing.
And
Continue.
then Okie Diggins was the first male in the 6K in 36:01, followed by Max Backhouse in 36:06 and Matthew Blackmore in 36:25. Everyone will be excited to hear whether Team Warp were the first team to finish, and unfortunately we were not quite. There were a few teams ahead of us.
We were the top 18.
Yeah. So front runner, I think that who said to me that they'd put a call out on their WhatsApp group for another fast runner? Was it somebody on the
really?
call? Yeah, I think somebody dropped out
I
that
think
late.
somebody dropped out. Their partner had a baby, I think the night before, about 2 weeks early. So reasonable excuse, I guess.
Yeah. How inconvenient for the team. So front runner were the first team to finish. They were an all-male team in 6:09:09, followed by 4.5 men in 6:27:26, and then double were the third team in 6:42:42. Shout out to rival podcast Low Ceiling, who we kept seeing at every checkpoint and we're tag teaming with. They were well ahead of us all the way. They finished in 6:59:35 and were fifth team overall. For the 40k relay, Gear L was the first team, mixed team in 5:39:35. Protea Pacers,
Protea, like a flower.
Protea.
South Africans.
Oh, okay. I'm not with my South African flowers, obviously. In 5:41:13, and Team JCM were third in 6:13:10. King of the Mountain for the men was taken out by Tyler Ree in 15:56. Oh, actually, sorry, no. There were two. Yeah. There was a tie. I don't know what I put these in, and I didn't. Yeah, Tyler Rhea and Chris Council both ran exactly the same pace for 15:56, the exact same time on the King of the Mountain segment. And Sean Monks was the Queen of the Mountain in 16:59. She came flying past me as I was crawling up that hill. Looked incredible. So she was well ahead. That is a new Queen of the Mountain overall for the females.
Record. Yeah.
Obviously, it's females, but it's Queen of the Mountain. Yeah.
Yep. Who was the fifth fastest?
It was me.
Yeah, very good.
It was me. I was just behind Holly Ranson and Christy Laurie, who both did the 65k, and I did 12.
No one needs to know they did 58 kilometres beforehand.
I reckon I'm going to go back out there and see if I can go faster than that, because I think I could. And I'm quite keen to give it a crack.
It's all on private property, I think.
Oh, yeah. So the only opportunity you get is, I hadn't thought of that.
Next year.
You have to come back, I guess.
Next year.
You see Holly's heart rate on that segment. She ran 147 beats per minute. Whereas like Sean was at 180 at the top, which is crazy. But yeah, just goes to show Holly's a beast. Yeah.
And also, Holly had a good warm up for it, and Sean had just started at leg 5, so that would be the reason. I'm 8th overall all time.
Holy shit! I'm
so proud of that. I am no good on hills, so that's like my moment. Just having my moment.
Awesome.
And that's while you were recording like WhatsApp voice memos and taking videos as well.
Yeah.
That's seriously impressive.
I was interviewing Rob. I was taking a video. I was like chatting about Brian's injuries, all at the same time, and running 5th fastest on Queen of the Mountain.
That's amazing.
So with Holly, I was sitting next to her at the end with the compression boots on, and I was having a bit of a chat with her, and she'd just finished, and she'd taken off like her shoes, and her feet are probably in worse condition than Jamie Back's. So that's a little funny story.
I saw today she was busy massaging Phil Gall's feet today as well.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Very busy.
Probably she's on crew duties for the week.
Wow.
Surely.
She's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What a reward. All right. Well, we're 1 hour 48 in, so I think we got to wrap this all up. But look, Mike, Ben, Vic, And obviously Annika, who dropped out earlier. Look, cheers for joining us on this podcast series. I think, as we've mentioned with like previous podcast training series in the past, it's not easy to get on to a podcast, put yourself out there, and put all this unnecessary pressure on yourself.
And not even race.
Right. Yeah, not even race. Yeah. But yeah, no, like
Just along for the ride, Ben.
Just on for the ride. But no, look, really appreciate giving up your time, and chatting all things running. So we really appreciate it. It's been a joy to chat with all of you guys. Your backgrounds and why you turned to running, and obviously what's still to come as well. So we really appreciate it. We really like. I think for me personally, it's just how honest and open you guys are, and you don't have to be, but you are. So it's really appreciated by us. All the best for your future plans and races, and we look forward to hearing from you in the months to come. But I think that's it for us. You can reach out to us on Instagram at what is our Instagram handle again? At WA Running Pod. Our email address is warunningpodcast@gmail.com, and our Strava group is Warp. Thanks for joining us on this Trail to Transcend series, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.
Yeah.
Thanks, you legends.
Are we skipping over the fact that you said you were going to run the 28K, Simon?
So Tina's gone, oh, that's it for Transcend, right? I'm like, yeah, that's it for Transcend.
2026.
Well, I mean, I measured her today with my race plans for the rest of the year, and she just wrote back, "No!" exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. So me and Simon are not in the good books.
I mean, I don't think I've shared this voice memo, but this was what I said to her when I said, "Oh, on Friday night, by the way, I'm doing 2 legs at Transcend," and she said,
"You have got to be fucking joking. You're fucking killing me here."
And then I muted the conversation and just said, "Love you."
Chat Sunday.
Yeah.